Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Highruler, and today's video is going to be talking about the developer update for Suicide Squad. Now, this one is going to be an interesting video because this is the last of its kind, which we are going to talk about. Now, to start it off, they do have a video here from Iron Smash Web, and if you don't sub to him on YouTube or follow him on Twitter, you definitely should, because he definitely posts a lot of Suicide Squad content, and he makes the best of the situation that we have with this game. So, much love to him and his videos and his content. Definitely check him out if you haven't already. But through the rest of this developer update, they kind of give you some basic information. They were answering some questions that realistically, I don't know if people were answering, but truthfully, it is what it is. There is some information there. Go for it. Have at it. Why not? Now, here's kind of what we got to talk about today. They say, now that both episodes for Season 1 are in your hands, our developer updates will change from being weekly to releasing them when we have big news to share about future content. We hope this will make release of each new update an exciting event while keeping you all up to date on all that's happening with the game. Now, okay, so let's talk about this, because I think right off the rip here, what a lot of people are going to jump to knee-jerk reaction is that this is cool. They're only going to talk when there's stuff to talk about, right? Because I think a lot of people were looking at the past developer updates and going like, oh, is this all you guys got? Now, truthfully, I don't blame either side here for that reaction, right? Obviously, you look at the last developer updates that they've put out, they haven't been great, and community sentiment around them hasn't been great. So they shift gears, and people are, I guess, excited for this new kind of shift in strategy. I mean, sure. Here's the kind of problem, that this game is a death by 1,000 cuts. We have, obviously, this shift in strategy now with their comms, and their community management outside of maybe at the start with their Discord hasn't been something to write home about, right? Like, there hasn't been a lot of front-facing kind of developments here with regards to anything happening with that community management team, right? It just feels like if you're not in that Discord, you're kind of fucked, right? And that's not to say that is an individual problem. I think, like, on the community side, and some of the Rocksteady individuals that I've talked with are really great people, right? But that's all been back channel stuff, unfortunately, right? So it's unfortunate that now it seems like they're going to be pulling away from the community side of things, because this, truthfully, for a lot of people, was the only sort of communication that we got, right? If you're not in the Discord, you didn't really get to see what they were saying. If you follow some of them on Twitter, they don't really talk about work stuff, right? They don't really engage with anything going on with the game. So this was all that people had to look forward to. And truthfully, there are ways to make this sort of content good, right? Like, there are ways that you can look at a weekly developer blog or go to bi-weekly or every 3 weeks. Like, there are ways to do it. But at this point, they're basically saying that we are going to go to every 4 to 5 weeks, right before an update drops, and that's when you're going to get, you know, your kind of cadence of information here. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is that this just goes to show that this game is in a very bad state, right? Because when you look at it, they've now once again pulled back from their comms. Their patching cadence is dreadful, right? Their marketplace updates aren't great. And now their seasonal updates are every 8 weeks. Is that kind of what we're going with here? Like, it just seems like this game has entered a weird maintenance mode where you are predicting this game is just kind of being kept on to be kept on, but there isn't really anything actively happening with it, right? Because if a game was being actively, you know, developed to a degree that we see with some other games, you know, the Twitters are updating all the time. The developers are front facing. They're getting in front of the community. They're talking about things. They're explaining future updates, patches, so on and so forth. And we just don't see that with Suicide Squad. Today's update, while yes, I think there are some things to be happy about, that these updates that shared nothing will go away, I think the alternative actually just points to a bleak picture here that we're getting. And it's unfortunate, because I think for a lot of this game, the content creation space has just died, right? Now, that's not to say that there aren't some people out there who are taking advantage of the situation. Once again, Iron Smash Web worked with Rocksteady and Warner Brothers on the preview of episode 2, and his video was great. Loved it. I think more opportunities for creators like that are good. But when you look at the opportunities for creators, here's kind of where you're at. You want to do build content? Well, they can just go to the leaderboards and look at the top players and just copy their builds, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I've been saying that's great all along, but that's an avenue of content creation that's just been killed right there. Obviously, a lot of people like to talk about the news, things are upcoming, patch notes, they like to engage with the news side of the video game that they cover. Well, that's actually been killed, so you can't really do that any longer. And then this game just doesn't really have an engaging end game loop, so streamers can't really stream it, and that's reflected on the streamer numbers when it comes to either the YouTube side or the Twitch side. So that's been killed. Right now, this game has really no active community whatsoever. You have a few pockets of individuals who will cover this game, but there's really no cohesive community that will jump from content creator to content creator, from Discord to Discord, to actively talk about the game. And that's because there is just nothing to talk about. And instead of coming up with something that they can do, instead of some sort of interesting idea that they can actually engage with, instead, what we're getting here is nothing. And that's fine if that's what they want to do. I've said all along since, the last couple of videos I've done that Rocksteady seemingly is shifting gears. It's hard to argue that they aren't at this point, because when you look at it, what we have upcoming is going to be Mrs. Freeze and Lawless. Now, I know there are some people out there who are going to be excited for these characters, and I'm sure mechanically they are going to play really well, and I'm sure the loot's going to be great. I'm sure hopefully what they do with Metropolis is going to be fun as well. But you can't tell me that this is going to do something to revitalize the game. It's not. And I think at this point, it's just another cut here to be added to the other 1,000 cuts that this game has, kind of given, and just one more closer just kind of being forgotten about. And I think when you look at this, it's just a sad time to be a fan of this game, It's sad. And I hate it because obviously I do enjoy the game. I do enjoy some of the quality of life stuff that they do. Obviously, my last video, I did talk about the quality of life changes that they did, and I thought they were really well done. And it just sucks that the quality of life changes aren't really mirroring a lot of the, casual content drops that need to happen to this game in order to kind of keep it sustainable and to keep it growing, right? At this point, any sort of time you pull away from the community to some degree like this, it just goes to show there isn't a lot of things talking about, right? No market refreshes to really talk about, right? Of course, everyone wants, DCU skins or DCEU skins, whatever they call them. They want comic skins. They just saw Multiverses launch with a lot of those. And I think a lot of people are looking at Suicide Squad being like, are you guys serious right now? Like, you can't give us that? And the answer is no, apparently they can't, right? So there's just so much happening with this game. And on the other side of that, there's so much not happening with this game. And it's just a really frustrating experience, right? So here's kind of where we're at right now. Truthfully speaking, if there's nothing to talk about from their side, there's obviously nothing to talk about from the content creator side, from the community side, which means that this community, whether it's going to be centered in YouTube comments or Discords or, Twitter, that's going to wither away now, right? There is just nothing going on with this game. And I think what you're going to start seeing is that content creators are going to move to other games. Some have moved to Multiverses, for example, and some will move to other games. Someone in my chat yesterday, Rondo, mentioned that Pixels, a UK-based content creator, actually went back to Texas Chainsaw. Now he's covering Killer Clowns. And I think I watched one of his podcasts where he was very upset with the way Rocksteady handled this game, because it just seemed like it just never came to fruition, like what they thought the game was going to be. And I think what you're going to see now is that everything to do with the community side of this game is just going to wither away. A lot of the time when this happens, games just don't die like this, right? Until like the servers turn off, for example, right? Like we know Marvel's Avengers and other past games like that, service was ended. But what's going to happen here is that this game is just going to wither and wither and wither and wither, because there is no upkeep on their community. There's no upkeep on the news. There's no upkeep on positive momentum. And because of that, this is kind of what you have to get, and it's just so unfortunate. So today's video is kind of a rant. I think it's unfortunate looking at this. It's unfortunate seeing what Rocksteady's doing, but I don't blame, Derek and the rest of the Rocksteady community team if this is what they're being told, right? Like if there's nothing coming to the game, they can't make something out of thin air. And I'm sure they would love to kind of come up with some good ideas, but if they don't have the backing, what are they supposed to do, right? And it's just super unfortunate that at this point in time, we are a couple months into this game and they're already like, well, we have nothing really to talk to you guys about. So we'll see you in 4 to 5 weeks, I guess, or whenever a patch comes out. But God, who knows? That could just be season to season at this point. And I think it's just an unfortunate situation. So this was a little bit of a rant video here. I know this is like almost 10 minutes of me ranting about this game, but I think it's just so unfortunate that we're at this point in time and the game's already being pulled away from us from the community team because they just have nothing to talk about. And I think it's It's unfortunate that we're just watching this wither and die, right? Like we're just literally helpless to watch them be like, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. And it's just, I don't know. If you support any content creator that covered this game, that did videos, streams, engaged with the community whatsoever, support them in the next game they play and support them in whatever else they do, because there is no shot anyone is going to be able to do any sort of content on this game because all the content avenues have just now dried up, right? So if you watch anybody, whether it's me or whether it's anybody else who has ever covered this game, and they kind of cover a game you might be interested in, check out a video by them, do something, engage with their stuff, because a lot of people looked at this game with hopes and dreams that this could be a really cool live service game that they could cover. And it just seemed like that idea, that goal, that dream has now just died with this. And once again, maybe I'm being a little doomer pilled here, but tell me in the comments if you guys are excited for Mrs. Freeze and Lawless. Tell me. If you guys are, I'll take this back, because truthfully, that will do nothing for the more casual community. And I don't think that's going to do anything for the more hardcore community, because a lot of them have already said that the mastery system isn't something they want to engage with. At this point in time, what do you do, right? So anyways, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys want more content, I can't even say Suicide Squad content, but if you guys want more content, make sure subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a nice little comment. I am looking towards the next game to play. I am thinking about Killer Clowns. If you guys want Killer Clown stuff, let me know, because I'm looking towards the next thing being like, what do I play? Obviously, Marvel Rivals is coming out in July, and we know that the closed beta is going to be fun. But obviously, we don't know when the full launch is going to be after that. And the closed beta could only be another week, right? So there has to be something here that we can do. Something that I can do to keep you guys entertained. And I can't play Multiverses, guys. You guys been following my Twitter? I can't play it. That camera just really doesn't agree with me. So hopefully we find something here on the channel that could be a lot of fun. Hopefully we find something that you guys enjoy, myself, all together. And we'll keep on keeping on. So with that being said, guys, enjoy once again the rest of your day and night. Take care, take care of yourselves, and see you guys next time. Peace.